Hi, my name is Andy Li Junling from Loire Valley Innovation Capital from Shanghai. This is my 6th year from Shanghai to here. I have to say to you too, Warren and Charlie, you are highly respected and deeply loved by millions and millions or even billions globally. I have 2 questions today. First question, in your letters to shareholders, you said you believe EBITDA is not a good parameter to value a business. Why is that? Can you elaborate on that? Second question, you both have very successful and happy lives. With great respect, my question is to each of you in retrospect, from a personal standpoint, do you have regrets in life? If there is one thing you would have done differently in your life, family, personal, or business, what is it? Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't think you should expect us to answer that on personal, but if in business, I would say I wish I'd met Charlie earlier. We've had a lot of fun ever since I was 29 and he was 35, but it would have been even more fun if we'd started many years earlier. We had a chance to. We worked in the same grocery store, but not at the same time. In respect to EBITDA, depreciation is an expense, and it's the worst kind of an expense. You know, we love to talk about float. And float is where we get the money first and we have the expense later. Depreciation is where you spend the money first, and then record the expense later. And it's reverse float, and it's not a good thing. And to have that enter into a multiple, it's much better to buy a business that has everything else being equal, has no depreciation, because it has essentially no investment in fixed assets and makes X, than it is to buy a company that where there's a lot of depreciation in getting to X. And I may write a little bit more on that next year, just because it's such a mass delusion. And of course, it's in the interest of Wall Street enormously to focus on something called EBITDA, because it results in higher borrowing power, higher valuations, and all of that sort of thing. So it's become very popular in the last 20 years. But it's a very misleading statistic, can be used in very pernicious ways. Charlie, on either one of those subjects?
I think you've understated the horrors of the subject and the disgusting nature of the people that brought that term into the valuation of business. It would be like a leasing broker of real estate you had 1,000 square foot suite to be leased, and he says it's got 2,000 feet in it. That's not honorable behavior, and that's the way that term got into common usage. Nobody in his right mind would think that depreciation is not an expense.
Yeah, but it's very much in the interest of Wall Street.
Yes, that's why they did it.
Yeah.
It made the multiple seem lower.
And what's amazing is the way it's accepted, actually. But anyway, it just illustrates how people use language, and sell concepts that work to their own use. And 2 and 20 has the same sort of thing. I mean, the number of people, the amount of money that's overperformed after paying 2 and 20 compared to the expenses that have been incurred, I will assure you, makes for a terrible indictment of that particular arrangement. But as long as it can get sold, it will get sold. And
now they use it in the business schools. Now that is horror squared. I mean, it's bad enough that a bunch of thieves start using a term, but when it gets so common that the business schools copy it, that's not a good result.
Okay.